Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're doing an unboxing, a review, and a demo of the Joyhill stainless steel knife block and the Yeosen stainless steel reusable K-Cup. This thing is specially made for the Ninja Dual Brew coffee makers. So you ready? Let's get into this. One quick note, our reviews are based upon what we think is important. That might be a little bit different for you, so what we recommend doing is after watching our video, you pull up some other videos from other content creators just so you can get a wider range of opinions and thoughts. That way you can make a much more informed buying decision, and that is the most important thing of all. Well, the reason we're doing the review, unboxing, and demo all together is the fact that there's not really anything to these things, so there's not really a whole lot to test. Let's take a look at the K-Cup first. This is actually something that I've seen a lot of our viewers ask about. You see, it's just a little stainless steel container that you can put coffee grounds into, and it's got a top that's compatible with the Ninja Dual Brew coffee makers that I mentioned before. You can see the 3 holes on the top here. That's a thing that Ninja's done. So this is not going to be compatible with Keurig machines, just to let you know. Looking at the back of the box, you can see the 3 Ninja Dual Brew coffee makers that this thing is compatible with. Okay, let's open this thing up. And you just have a little instruction book on how to use this. Should be pretty self-explanatory. Step 1, put the coffee in the thing. Step 2, put on the lid. So far so good, right? Step 3, line up the yellow mark. So that's a little important. If you don't line those up together, then the holes here aren't going to align with the needles in the Ninja Dual Brew coffee maker, and then you're probably going to have a really long day when you try to close that thing. So that's useful. Okay, let's get this filter. Pretty nice little filter, actually. Okay, just pop the top off. Then it has a little rubber seal around the edge here to kind of keep it snug, so that's pretty nice. You can see this is all stainless steel construction here. It's got little microscopic holes down in the bottom. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's also got those all around the side as well. In fact, you should be able to see my hand through here, right? You can crush this because obviously it's just one layer of stainless steel. There's a little yellow mark right here that they were talking about. So I guess all we gotta do is test this out. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so we'll take off this lid and we'll throw little coffee grounds in here. Be careful not to overfill that thing. That's gonna be a strong cup, but that's all right. We like to live on the wild side. Throw the lid back on. And you can see right there how the needles are aligned there. We'll put our K-Cup right down in there. And you can see right along the front, it's got this little nub sticking out. That's where the yellow has to line up with. And you can see right here that it correlates to those nubs here. Now we'll go ahead and close this up slowly, just like they said. And you can hear it click into place like that. Throw on a coffee cup, start this up. You can see that this is in K-Cup mode already for us. And we're gonna do 8 ounces because I typically like a little bit of coffee with my creamer. And I need to make sure I leave enough space in there for said creamer. Now we'll go ahead and start it up. Okay, let's check out the color. Yep, and that's looking pretty darn good. I probably could have put 9 ounces in here, but that is just about 8 ounces for sure. After it gets done brewing and everything cools down, then you can just take this out of here, clean that up, and you can reuse it. No mess. Hey, by the way, if this is your first time here and you want to learn some cool new recipes, get some great cooking tips and tricks and all sorts of other kitchen related things, then start now by subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell so you never miss a thing. Next we have our Joyhill knife block. I like how they made the H in their logo, a little guy with a chef hat there. That's pretty inventive, pretty cute too. But kind of makes it hard to read that, but whatever. On the front there's an animated picture of everything, and I don't know if that's a happy smile or kind of an evil smile, actually. She's kind of creepy. They even gave her a name, Cake Master Mrs. J. That is not Mrs. Joe's Phenomenal, okay? Just to put that out there. Anyway, she's got that weird look, she's got a knife in her hand. We need to move on. Let's open this up. I like how they gave this thing a little extra protection. That's always nice. Whoa. You know, this thing was not very expensive. The last knife block that I had was made by Global, and I actually paid about $120 for that thing. I know I'm paying for the name brand, but really it wasn't any more complicated than this thing. And the construction here is pretty darn good. It's got all these slats up on top here for multiple sizes of your knives. And this hole right here, you can use to mount kitchen scissors, or you might be able to put a honing rod in there as well. This thing measures about 4¼ inches by another 4¼ inches. But you can't use all that space because you've got this lip here. So really the usable space is about 3¾ inches. And I'm assuming that's the same. And it is. As far as the height goes, the container is roughly 8½ inches or so before you get to the base. So I'm assuming that any knife you have that's got a longer than 8-inch blade is gonna stick out a little bit extra on the top here. What do you say we load this up with some knives? Okay, we're gonna try to load this up with our knives. We've got a couple of really long knives here though, so probably we're gonna have some issues, but that's why we do this stuff. Okay, we have our 8-inch chef knife. That fits in there really nice. Really, you can see there's a lot of room to move these back and forth. They're not really being snugged down in here like you get with a lot of other knife blocks. Because of that, you can stagger your knives back and forth, and that way you can stick them right in the slats next to each other without bumping the handles, so that's pretty good. Next is my 7-inch Santoku. Yeah, it fits in there pretty good. Just kind of rock around a little bit though. Not exactly sure how I feel about that, but it's kind of, I don't know, kind of wobbles around a little bit. I mean, you can move this down a little bit more. No, I guess not. If I push this down in here, these slats will divide a little bit and it'll kind of hold it in place a little bit, but I don't know. A little bit wonky. Don't know how I feel about that. Next we got a 6-inch utility knife. Again, same kind of deal where it does kind of float back and forth a little bit. I don't know, that's something I could probably get used to. I don't know, given the price of this thing, not so bad, but I don't know, I'm not so sure I'm sold. 6½-inch boning knife. That actually kind of grips pretty good on that one. You know, in fact, we don't have too many knives here, so we're going to space these out a little bit more. Maybe that'll kind of help this a little bit. We'll just go every 3 slats, I think. The bottom of the container is a little bit on the hard side, so be careful. You don't want to jam your knives down in here. You can kind of screw the ends of them up. Next we got our 3-inch paring knife. I'll just kind of set that right in the front here. And then I have my 9½-inch carving knife. This one's going to be a little bit tougher, I think. Yeah, and you can see that that does not go down all the way. I'm not really blaming the block too much on this because most people don't carry a knife that long. I mean, it does stay in there, so that's kind of good, I guess. There's my honing rod too. And this is a long honing rod, so honestly that doesn't fit that well, especially since it's banging off this other knife here. But you know what? That hole is really made for scissors, so again, that's probably not fair. That ends up sitting kind of on the side like that. I mean, this could have been a little bit tighter on this if they had maybe like some sort of foam insert that would kind of hold the knives in place. That would have really improved this. But for what it is, it's not terrible. If you like something like this, but you don't like the stainless steel color, they actually make like 4 or 5 different colors. There's a red one, a white one, a rose gold, the stainless steel, and I think there's one other color as well. Anyway, this may or may not fit underneath your cabinets, just depending on what you got in there. The honing rod I'm using is a long one, so of course it's not going to fit under there. So we're just going to kind of scooch this over to the side here, and everything's going to be fine, no problem. So all in all, not too bad. That little reusable K-cup filter for the Ninja coffee makers is something that I've heard a lot of people ask for a while, and until now I don't really think that there's been one available. Nothing much to complain about there. The price is right, the construction's decent, and it doesn't leak all over the place. The best part is if you like to brew single cup coffees, but you don't like all the plastic that the K-cups throw in the landfill, then something like this is going to be right up your alley. As far as knife block goes, it does get the job done, it looks decent, and it doesn't cost a whole lot. The fit could be better with the knives, and if it was just maybe 1 inch taller, then it would account for all the knives that I personally have. However, most people don't have really long knives, so that probably isn't going to be an issue. The only other critique I have about that is I wish the bottom portion was a little bit more spongy on the inside. Maybe a big piece of foam or rubber or something like that, because I do worry a little bit about jamming a knife in there a little bit too hard and bending the end of it. Other than that, if you're careful with your knives, you shouldn't have any problem with that at all. If you'd like a little bit more information about that reusable K-Cup or the stainless steel knife block, we do have Amazon affiliate links to those down in the description of the video. If you buy anything through those links, we do make a small commission, but it doesn't change the price that you pay 1 cent. If you like this video, you might like to see our review video right up here for the Ninja Dual Brew Pro coffee maker. Pretty interesting coffee maker. It does have a lot of functions, and it's also the one that we used for the demo on the K-Cup just a few minutes ago. That's it for now. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take it easy.